we're about to have a panel here on making it in today's music industry, especially being an independent artist. I'd like to introduce, I'm Jennifer Stoever. I'm a professor at SUNY Binghamton. I study music and sound in the English department. And this is Aaron Trammell.
Yeah, I'm Aaron. I'm at Rutgers University. I'm a doctoral candidate, and I spent a lot of time in the punk scene there, so I've got a lot of friends, including Joe Steiner, who's a student here, who owns the label Don Giovanni Records and stuff like that, so he's a cool guy.
Right, and also we are two of the three co-founders of the blog Sounding Out, so we have our own indie internet startup, still unfunded, other than our own pockets, so maybe we're not good examples, but and yeah, I grew up in Southern California and came up in the punk scene there, so I have my own kind of, we have kind of or on the verge of internet experience, so we're really interested to hear how the new way of getting your name out there, how it happens. So we're going to be speaking with, let's see, next to me here, Matthew WEISS. He has a dual career, both as a performing artist and an audio engineer. In 2009, Matthew received a Grammy nomination for contributions on Othello by Uri Kane. Is it Uri? Uri, yeah. In 2013, Matthew received the Spelman Award for engineering Rosso by King Midas. He has recorded and mixed for Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Ronnie Spector. That's dope. Multi-platinum rapper Dizzy Rascal, Grammy-winning multi-platinum hip-hop group Arrested Development, and many more. Nice. Sammus. Sammus is an upstate New York-based rap artist, some of you may know her, and producer with Congolese and Ivorian family roots. Since joining New Black Music Group in early 2012, she has released 2 Bandcamp best-selling albums with features from Open Mike Eagle and Chance Fisher, a collaborative EP with nerdcore MC Random, aka Mega Ran, 2 remastered video game instrumental EPs with DJ Cutman, a critically acclaimed beat tape, and a Kickstarter-funded Metroid EP. She has also appeared as a feature alongside artists like Homeboy Sandman and Don Well. Her production is characterized by her use of uniquely chopped samples and video game-like synths. She's appeared on such notable Afropunk, 2 Dope Boys, OK Player, and will be performing for the first time at South by Southwest this year. Right on. She's been called the Rap Aisha Tyler because of her smart lyrics and often drawn her love of gaming. As her Metroid-inspired name reflects, it is her hope that listeners and future fans will be pleasantly surprised by the contrast between the person society says she should be as an artist and who she actually is. And we're going to be talking about that tonight. And finally, before being chosen as LA Weekly's rapper most likely to be big in 2014, the Penn State graduate and self-proclaimed teacher rapper hero made waves by going way left of his backpack roots by combining 8-bit video game sounds and hard-hitting hip-hop tracks, and has become a trailblazer in the budding genres of chiptune and nerdcore hip-hop while maintaining a career as a middle school teacher. Nice. Although Random is no longer a teacher by title, he maintains a rigorous touring and recording schedule, traveling the world to entertain and educate through the gift of rhyme. With 3 million YouTube views, over $50,000 raised on Kickstarter, and a legion of smart art fans he calls Team Mega beside him, the future looks brighter than ever. Various video game developer cosigns and admiration from the genre's toughest critics have led to placements in TV, movies, university courseware, and of course games. Random's music and story have been shared on stages across the world, on television, ABC, NBC News, ESPN, Portlandia, Tosh.0, WWE Wrestling. That's a very diverse portfolio there. And in leading music, gaming, and tech publications, print and online. And I think really just studying these bios would be a good place to start for how to hustle in the current music industry. So welcome to you guys. Thank you very much. You want to start with a question here?
Yeah, we were looking over these questions on the back and some suggested ones, but also just kind of like brainstorming in the car about what we really wanted to talk about. And, I think the really big question that we got to bite into here is, what does it mean to make it? What is that for you? Break it down.
I heard you making noises.
I said,
yeah, that's.
Oh, so I want to get that door.
That was all right. What does it mean to make it? It's for me. Honestly, I always set. I don't know. Day to day, the goals seem to change. Week to week and month to month, and usually by the end of the year, it's usually just getting a little further ahead than you were. And the picture of success, it changes for me. It's usually just trying to maintain. My goal is to enlarge my territory. You know, it's like to somehow make it into previously uncharted, unexplored areas. So when you mentioned the diversity of the things like from wrestling to the news to ESPN and things like that, it's just a matter of that's part of my goal. So it's the enlargement of my reach and attempting to just to combine all the things I'm interested in, from sports to video games to education and things like that, and enlarging it. So being here, sitting here right now at the university and talking about this is definitely a picture of success for me. So it's just a matter of getting myself to new places, places that I haven't been. That's the short of it for me.
We've talked a lot about this actually while I was sort of driving around in between spots while on this tour. And I think for me, success is being able to live comfortably and do what I want to be able to do. Not to be worried about like the day-to-day, to feel like I can be comfortable one month to the next. And I think as a child, I never really saw the image of like the indie artist. Like it was either you were a struggling, starving artist or you were like Mariah Carey. There was never any sort of middle ground, so I didn't really have a picture of what it meant to be, that you could be a successful artist who's not necessarily making millions of dollars, but is still able to sustain themselves. And I think as I've grown in this craft and met more people who are actually doing it, it seems like something feasible. No, I may not be, have millions of dollars, and no, I may not want billions of dollars, but to just be able to have a roof over my head, to have food, and to be able to splurge sometimes and get things that I want to be able to get, I feel like that's success, and to be able to do that based on the music that I put out into the world. So that's pretty much the short of it.
I'll take $20. Is everybody here a Cornell student? No, not everybody here. So you're a teacher. That's right. You're a professor. You're a professor here? Where are you a professor?
An hour north of here.
Hour north of here. Okay. I've never been to Hour North of here University. So. Okay, but most of you guys are students. Are you all music students? No. Like, are any of you music students? No. Wow. So, because I want to know who I'm speaking to, since this is an intimate group here. What are you guys studying? And what brings you here tonight? Anybody can feel free. Yeah.
Well, I'm probably going to major in like computer science, but cool. I've always had a really strong love for music and video games. Like I even have like a radio show now.
So you're here for that one.
Well, both of those.
for them. Got you. That's everybody else is interested in video games? Yeah, a lot of interest in video games. Me too. How about you two in the back?
I'm actually staff here at Cornell, and my friend invited me to come tonight because I believe that she's...
I'm a Sammus fan.
Yeah.
We were at the last concert. It was great.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you do here?
I work for the ILR school, working on their professional development programs, so design, just evaluation, value add for the students, which I guess is an element of being creative.
Sure.
But then there's a little art to that as well. So.
Absolutely. And
I'm a librarian.
You're a librarian, like
There's
a
more to
motherfucker.
that. There's more to that.
That's so cool. Like, I'm a librarian. So my idea of success is your idea of success. It's the same things. It's the same thing that they've said. It's the same thing. One day you might think of success as if I can just do what I love to do, and then other days you think of success as, man, I would really love to own a yacht. Not to use it, just to have it. So it changes. The picture changes. But as long as you feel like you're accomplishing things, getting through and achieving your goals, that is success to me.
Okay, so part of that for you guys, all three of you have made a transition from a day job, or or you have day jobs, and like, what is the relationship between that kind of, between feeding yourself, I guess, and being a musician, and that is a real tension, especially if you're touring, and you leave for certain parts of the year, things like that. Like, how do you make that transition from being a part-time musician or doing it in your off hours to being a full-time musician, and how did that come about for each of you guys moving toward that success?
Mine's quick. I saved up money for a couple of years, and then I just went for it, and I lost all of that money, built a little bit of it back, lost that money, and then just went at it again.
I have been taking baby steps, like creeping along slowly. So a lot of my friends, a lot of my musician friends have taken the leap. And I think it seems like a lot of them have taken that leap because they were sort of forced to, like they were fired from a position, or we were talking about this, I think, recently, that like a traumatic life event happens and that sort of pushes them. I haven't really had that push, so I've been sort of chilling in the comfort of being able to have a steady income as a graduate student, and I enjoy what I'm doing as well. But in terms of making that leap, I haven't really been able to make it yet. I'm not sure what it's going to take for me to say this is definitively what I'm going to do now. And I think that that's actually, I'm kind of hoping to be able to sustain this for as long as possible, to have the dual identity, because I think that's important. And I think that generationally, that's something really cool, to be able to see someone who's doing two things at the same time and doing them well. It's really cool when there's an actor who's also a singer, who's also, a dancer, the sort of triple threat thing. I'd love to be able to do that from the academic perspective, like, I study stuff during the day and then I make raps and beats at night. So I haven't been able to sort of figure out what it would take for me to move sort of into the full-time musician position. But we'll see what happens. Sorry, that wasn't a great answer.
No, it was really good. My situation was a little different. I wasn't fired or laid off or anything like that, but I was teaching for a middle school for a long time, and making music at night and weekends and summer times. I would tour, and I always told myself I would do both of them as long as I could do both well. And I felt that I had a lot more demands on me as far as touring, which led to me missing days from school. So to me, it made me less than a perfect teacher. So at that point, I had to start seriously considering stepping away from it. And so I just would set goals every week or month, like, okay, well, if I do this, if I make this amount of money, then I'll step away. And I never actually did, and I never hit the amount that I wanted to make. And I was like, well, if I keep waiting for the perfect moment, I'll be 45 and I won't have ever tried it. So let me just do it. And so I saved a couple months' rent and just took the leap. And it's been almost 5 years now, which is pretty crazy to think about. But I think it's kind of like, I guess people always tell me that about like getting married or other things too. It's like, but if you wait for that exact perfect moment, it won't happen, So sometimes you got to take your 2 out of 3 and just go with it, you know what I mean? Wait, I don't know if that was the right message at all about marriage. But about music anyway. It's kind of like, you may not have the perfect amount of money set up or the perfect tour opportunity set up, but I just believe in setting things in motion with your actions and with your thoughts that can lead to good opportunities. 2 months after I quit, I got put on a 2-month tour, so a lot of things just started working out for me. So it was just being in that position to be able to accept it. So that was kind of my thing.
Yeah, so this is like really inspiring to hear, like, these tales of success, and like, right on the verge, right there, ready to grasp it. So my question is, like, so you're doing this and you clearly have reasons to do this. What do you want to make? And what do you want to inspire people with? What do you want what do you want people to hear in the music they listen to when you make it? How does that speak to your work?
I'll go first, since I'm the only one who hasn't gone first. I think initially, when I first started, I didn't have this sort of grand idea of being this like inspirational figure. I think, especially when I started producing beats, that was mostly because I wanted to have a video game when I grew up and a cartoon. I didn't know how to animate, I didn't know how to program, but I knew how to make music. So I was like, I'll make the music for the cartoon or the video game, and then eventually, when I figure out all that stuff, then I'll have the soundtrack down. And then that later turned into, after listening to some Kanye West, I was like, I want to rap. This is awesome. He's talking about stuff that I can think about working at the Gap and like being stressed out about that. That's my experience. And so I really started pursuing rap when I moved down to Houston, where I became a teacher through Teach for America. And I was profoundly depressed. I was just totally, completely disillusioned. I'd been pretty naive when I went down there, and I was like crushed by the weight of the educational system. So I was like, I just need a way to express myself. But I found that as I was expressing myself, a lot of people found that I was giving voice to things that they had never sort of heard before. Particularly for me, I think what was important was being like a black woman who likes nerdy stuff, who likes games and cartoons. And I've talked to these two about this a little bit, but through this experience, being able to tour and go to like conventions and stuff like that, so many women of color, black women, have come up and hugged me after performances and just cried with me and been like, nobody has ever talked about that there's no character that looks like me on TV. And to have someone articulate it for me, it's like I have a voice now, I have a sister in this thing. So now as I move forward, that's definitely become a part of what I want to create. I want to create a safe space for women of color, for kids who don't see their faces on TV and in comic books, and kids who do, who just like to talk about that kind of thing. That's I think the bigger goal, but I didn't wake up and think I want to inspire all the nerds of the world or anything like that. It just sort of happened that way. It unraveled like that. So I don't know who's got next.
I kind of did wake up with the mission on my heart to inspire. I came from Philadelphia, from a pretty rough area in Philadelphia, and I grew up with a lot of kids who were just like me, who were just kids who were into expressing themselves creatively, also into sports and things like that. And a lot of those kids were kind of sucked up by just the evils of the time, whether it was drugs or violence or anything like that, and a lot of those kids aren't around anymore. And so when I started making music that reflected my life as a kid growing up in the inner city, but being okay with who they are, I realized how important it was to let kids know who looked like me that it was all right to still enjoy, playing video games or to be the kid who didn't necessarily want to follow the crowd. And I think that was something that hit me at an early age. And when I would visit and go out and have conversations with people at shows and have the same kind of reactions, where people would come up to me like, of all races and backgrounds, and say, "Man, you're telling my story. Like, this is me," And I'm just like, wow, that's what I want to do. I want to reach those kids that didn't have a voice previously. So that was something that was laid on my heart for a long time, just from being a teacher, coming from a teacher background, and wanting to just show people that there was a way to make particularly hip hop music and reflect who you are, who you wish to be, not who society wants you to be. So I definitely put that into my mind, and when I create, it goes into everything I make.
Okay, so one of the things, thank you guys for sharing that, and I think that kind of folds into the next question, which is thinking about, one of the things I was hearing when you guys were answering the previous question was that, I took a leap and then things started happening, right? And one thing I know about the music industry is that things don't just start happening, right? Like, you have to really, really hustle it. So you're being very modest in terms of how you talk about your career. And I think like the answers you gave to that question give insight as to why you hustle, but I want you to share with these folks like how you hustle. What have you done to put yourself in the position where things just started happening?
Well, I don't know how I came off as humble. That's ridiculous. No, things do start happening because you put yourself in position for so many different things to possibly occur. So when one of them works, that individual incident in itself is lucky. But because you've done 5,000 things and 4,999 of them dropped and that one happened to click, it's a combination of being ready for it and constantly putting yourself in a position for things to happen. So there's nothing about it that really breaks down to just things starting to happen. But the things that do start to happen are usually the ones that really move the career forward. So that's the time when you look back and go, shoot, 2 months after I quit my job, I got asked on a big tour. Cool, here we go. But I bet a lot happened in that 2 months.
I really do feel like it was sort of like a cosmic thing for me. It's because my first project, I was telling them I did a horrible job of promoting it. Like I put it on the internet and literally walked away. and was like, okay, I'm done. It's here. And then I see you looking over at your homie. Is that what you've done too? You looked guilty. Yeah. No, that was me. I like finished the first project that it's called Mother Brain. It's like my first full-length album. I uploaded it to Bandcamp, and then I went to hang out with my friends. I think I did one Facebook message like, "Hey, I just dropped my album. Bye." And then like Bandcamp staff picks, they just selected the album as like one of the albums that they really liked and put it up on the page. And that's actually how Mega Ran found me, was through Bandcamp, through that promotion. So I do know that, I put myself in a position to be there because I worked hard, I made beats a lot, I practiced rapping, I went to different shows, I put myself in different spaces, but it's hard for me to fully take credit for that, and I don't know what issues I need to work through to be able to like own, the stuff that I've been able to do. But it does feel like someone is looking out for me. Someone is really has my best interests at heart, because I've been blessed to work with people who are just genuine, really good. I haven't had any like serious fallings out with people. The team that I surround myself with, they're all very hardworking. They all make a lot of great music. So I just feel very fortunate, and I'm not sure who to credit that with. I don't feel like it's me. I think my music's cool, but there's a lot of people who make cool music. So yeah, I'm not necessarily sure. I guess I just send my stuff now. I do a better job of promoting. I'm a little bit more intentional. But initially, I guess that's what you can say, that you just make good music. Just make good music, and hopefully the rest will sort of fall into place. People will respond to genuine, good, open music.
That's a good one. I work my ass off. I was just talking about it earlier. I send 200 to 500 emails a day. I am constantly on the phone with people. I am constantly writing and rewriting press kits, bios, press releases, things like that. I'm constantly submitting my music to people, getting honest and open feedback for it. Constantly getting, just mixes and remixes and mastering and just constantly tweaking the music that is put out there, and constantly building on what little bit of momentum does come. So when there is a return, just working on constantly building that and transitioning that into a bigger opportunity. Just being relentless, I think, has been a big part of where I've come in. It's because when I started doing this particular style of music, which is, I guess, now known as nerd rap or nerdcore hip hop or things like that, it didn't exist. I was just making music that I just wanted to relate to, and I didn't realize that it was a thing. And so, attempting to find a way to promote it and to market it was super difficult. But that's what made me work even harder, is because there wasn't any chance to believe that any of the major press outlets would ever want to talk about an album about a video game, or things like that. So just being the first to kind of just knock on that door a little bit, and just to be relentless and keep knocking. has been a big part of it. So I work my behind off, and I never want to make people think it's easy. I think it's absolutely a hustle, and once in a while, you know, you can have the cosmic forces that Sammus has. It's lightning in the bottle once in the blue, and I honestly do believe like the way I happened to come across her was totally like by chance, but it ultimately came down to her creating a project that was absolutely phenomenal, and therefore couldn't be denied. And so sometimes it's just make a great thing. Sometimes it's make a good thing and then work really hard to promote it to people. Sometimes it's make something stupid, but make people laugh at it enough that they just, you know, that it continues to build that way. So, you know, that's my hustle is relentless. I work 16 hours a day at least on music. If I'm not writing a song, it's sending a song to someone, getting a revision, getting any sort of feedback on it, and just continuing to work on it. So my music life is pretty crazy. If I'm not on the road touring, then it's me in front of a computer all day long. Like, so yeah, my hustle is pretty intense, but that's just always the way. I feel like I'm making up for lost time. Like, I'm 35, so I feel like I wasted a lot of my younger years just doing silly stuff and not taking my music seriously or myself seriously. And, you know, I kind of skated through college, you know, and just didn't really pay attention much. And so I feel like now I'm making up for those years. And so that's why I feel like working 3 times as hard as the next man will always benefit you.
Success is not something that either hasn't happened or has happened and then you're over a line. This applies to every career. It's something that you have to perpetuate. So it's not that you become successful, it's that you perpetuate success.
Yeah, okay, so you opened up this space, and we got to move into it now. It's the dreaded space of marketing, right? Because things have changed, and you all have some knowledge that is like very, very specific and very, very amazing about how to market yourselves and how to get by in sort of digital economy. So you got to lay this on the audience right now.
Oh, man.
All the secrets.